Shalom, shalom. This is your brother again, Brother Morris Williams, with another episode of broadcast of Bridging the Gap to Common Unity. Give you an understanding of why we transition into what we call the Israelite faith. Now, the Israelite faith or Hebrew Israelite is not a derogatory term. Now, I know we have seen bad representation. You go on YouTube, you type in Hebrew Israelite, you might see many things that would make you be like, let's keep going, let's go past. But it's not a derogatory term, because when you look at the inception of it in the scriptures, the first Hebrew is who we know as Abraham, and then you go from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob, which was name changed to Israel, which his family became the Israelites, all the way down to Jesus himself was an Israelite. So just because somebody might take the term and live it wrong doesn't mean that we cast out the whole name that the Most High, which is God, gave to us. Now, in this broadcast, we're going to deal with the subject matter of I need answers, and you'll see what that means as we progress. But the first thing that I want to speak on is understanding what your difference is according to what God gave us. Because he distinctively made us all different and gave us different gifts that we have to discover that help us fulfill our purpose. So when you take that same concept, right, and we have a difference as individuals, but we also have a difference in nations. Now, I'm going back to us as Israelites, as quote-unquote people that are called people of color, African Americans, or black people. When you look at our difference, what makes us different? Now, let's look at some things. We are some of your best singers in the world. You give us a song, we'll take it from 0 to 60. We some of your best athletes in the world. That's just being honest. You look at from baseball to basketball to football, or even track and field. Some of the best athletes are from that quote-unquote African-American community. We are some of your best cooks. I know we ain't all on television, but you go to grandma's house, she can cook you some of your most favorite and best food that you ever tasted in your life. Even when you look at us as inventors and different things that we have invented in this nation that has made us distinct and has been what the groundworks that build in this nation to where it is today, we see the greatness that we have as a people. But it's something also within us that we have a burden as a nation also that influences our decision making and also influences our generations, right? Because if I ask the average person, African American or quote unquote black person, who they are, where did they come from, what was their language, what is their nation, if I ask them who they are or where they're from, most of them will tell me I'm from Alabama, I'm from Georgia, I am the Joneses, or I am the Williams. But if I ask you before slavery, who are you? 3 things we lost in slavery was our perception of who we are, our perception of why we exist, and then our sense of significance in the earth. All these things will be influenced if you don't have those things that distinctively that was given by God to make you different for you to fulfill your purpose. So if you don't know who you are, you don't know what's your posterity. You don't know the things that you could accomplish based off of your lineage. If you don't know why you exist, then you'll come up with terms of thugs, or termed as thoughts, and be influenced by a culture that also influences your generation that is raised without a culture, that is raised with no sense of significance, that is raised with no value. And then our sense of significance in the earth change. We won't know why we were here. We'll feel like we have no self-worth. We'll just be living and don't be effectively living and effectively working in purpose. Now get to the segment of the question of I need answers, because we look at the scriptures of the Bible as a prophetic book, a book that captures prophetic things that happens that's spoken of even before they happen, that's recorded in the scriptures, that was written and spoken of by the prophets. Now, my question is, how was the transatlantic slave trade missed? Now, if the Bible is a prophetic book, how did it miss the transatlantic slave trade? A system of slavery where a certain people were shipped all over the world for 200 and something years from nation to nation to nation. How did the prophets miss that? The scripture talks about that I don't do a thing unless what I reveal it first to my prophets, and they declare it and then it's written. So how did it miss the transatlantic slave trade? How did it get all the other captivities, like the Syrian captivity, the Greek captivity, the Roman captivity, but missed a major one in history concerning the transatlantic slave trade? Could we have missed it because we have been reading the scriptures with the wrong lenses, that we have been reading over things? Now, it's imperative to understand that we have a heritage that was given to us. If you ask the average person of color or black person who they are, what's their heritage, they would tell you they don't know. They would say, I don't know what my heritage is. My heritage, all our heritage is over here is cookouts, basketball, birthday parties at swimming pools, and then doing the electric slide at a family reunion. That's the basis of our culture, but we are people that have been void of that, but because we lost that. But the amazing thing that was captured in the scriptures and spoken of before time. Well, we understand that the scriptures didn't miss the transatlantic slave trade. It was recorded, it was spoken of, it was preordained that it should happen to a people, and to get them to ask questions. Now, what kind of questions should they ask? Why are we hated the way that we are? Now sit there and think about that. Think about, could you really be hated for the color of your skin? Could you really have been burned, have been hung, have been castrated, have been raped because your skin is black? That don't even make sense. We have to ask ourselves, why are these struggles have been happening? Why did we go through chattel slavery for 250 years, and then after that we had 100 years of Jim Crow and lynchings and burnings and black codes, and all these things were happening even after we were so-called free. And then after that, you have mass incarceration, you have redlining, you had all these things happening just because the people was black. Well, we couldn't use the same water fountains. We couldn't go to the same restrooms because our color of our skin was black. Or is it deeper than that? Or is it a spiritual thing of something that happened in ancient times that's revealing itself now, where the Most High is trying to get us to come back to Him to understand these things? Now let's see how concerned the Most High is about heritage. Because He had given a heritage to a people. And then because a people broke a covenant, He took the heritage away from them. And now they are wandering in the land. Their seed will be wandering in the land, not knowing what their heritage is. What is heritage? Not knowing what your culture is, what your language is, what your worship system is. That you'll be in every religion there is, and that identifies a people. That a people are in a land not knowing who they are, not knowing what their heritage, what their history is, not knowing what worship system they had, and they are in every religion that there can be. Now let's look and see, is the Most High even concerned about heritage? And then let's see that the heritage was lost. That brought us back to the day of I need answers. Let's look at Joel chapter 3. It says, for behold, in those days, that's talking about a future time, and in that time, that's talking about a future time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations who will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And there I will plead for them, for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nation and have parted my land. So we were speaking of that a nations of people have scattered another people throughout the nations, right? And they have taken their heritage. So He said He's going to plead for them for His people, which is Israel, and His heritage in which He gave to them. And then we go to Jeremiah 17:40. He said, because you didn't keep my law, you would discontinue from your heritage that I have given you. So that's letting us know, it goes back to the question of we need answers. Could we be the people that doesn't have a heritage? That heritage was discontinued, that we don't know who we are, that was spoken of, that it will be a time that your history, your heritage, your culture will be returned unto you. And that will be a revelation where you will be coming back to those things. People wondering why we running around here talking about heritage now. We're running around here talking with garments and different things of that nature, because it's a regathering and a prophecy being fulfilled that we're walking out. That He said, I'm going to return all those things back to you when you return unto me with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And in your heritage is a Messiah, is an anointed one that's going to show you and bridge the gap and show you the way to come back unto me. That's what I did in your heritage, what I put in you, that's going to show you how to please our God. Now, again, it goes back to, I need answers. There's no way we can be hated and brutalized and beat just for the color of our skin. But can we look in the scriptures and see that it was a people that the Most High chose, were called the nation of Israel, that he set a blessing and a curse before them, according to Deuteronomy 28. And he said, I set before you life and death, a blessing and a curse. He said, choose life so you and your what? Children, your descendants will live. But he said, if you break this covenant, it's not only going to affect you, but it's going to affect your generation throughout your lineage. And the main way that it's going to affect that other nations will come in and take you into captivity. And when you do the research, you'll realize the same nation of people was in all of these captivities, from Assyria to Babylon to Greek to Rome to Portuguese, all the way to America, that he said this would be continuously happen throughout your generation to get you to what? To cry out to me, to wonder why this is happening. And we didn't know that all the answers to this was hidden in this book to give us fulfillment and give us purpose and let us know what our distinct difference is, where we'll understand we have been called to be the priests and the kings of the earth that are bringing everybody and showing them the way of salvation back to the king. That was our original purpose, but it was lost because we broke a covenant and our heritage was discontinued from us. So this is another motivation of why we came to the Israelite faith. Not because we're trying to push color, because color don't matter when it comes to the Most High. But if our color has been lied about, then all truth matters. We got to bring the truth about color then. So you can understand who the true people is according to prophecy. Because also in prophecy it says that it shall be a people that was going to come take your heritage and be parading as you and getting the benefits of you. I know those that call themselves Jews and are not, according to Revelation chapter 2, that will be walking in your heritage. So this is why we have to deal with color in order to set the record straight and have the prophecies point to the right people. Because what? The Messiah, Jesus says what? Ye shall know the truth. You shall know the truth. Not you shall know partial of the truth. But you shall know the truth, and the truth gonna do what? Set you free. But you can never walk in true freedom if you don't expose the lie that have had us hostage. So this is why it's imperative for us to understand, because by us understanding this truth and this regathering of the Most High chosen people back unto himself, that will bring a nation of people and give us what? Back our perception of who we are, our perception of why we exist, and then give us a sense of significance in society, that we may be effective in the earth and distinctive in righteousness, bringing people back unto him. And this is our motivation of why it's important to bring this information, this understanding to a fallen generation, to a people that's in lower state in every category. You look at every category that we in when it comes to financial, when it comes to health, when it comes to all those things that we are below in all those things. And even that was prophesied in the scripture that says you will be the tail and not the head. But he said when we prophesy to these bones and give these bones this information, it will awaken these bones out of their dead, out of their graves, and the bones shall come together, which are what? The nation of Israel. Not distinctively putting nobody out, but bringing people back to what was originally given to them and what was spoken or what would happen to them prophetically, to bring them back into their place of right standing with God, our Creator. So this is the motivation of we need answers. And again, you can't look at what your brother say, what your preacher say, what your mother say in order to influence your reality of what this thing is about. You can't even look on YouTube. You have to be led by the Spirit. Ask the Most High to lead and guide you into all truth and to see if there's truth in what we're saying. So you may not miss the end time move of what the Most High because of your perception being clouded because of people perpetrating something that's not true in their lifestyle. So again, this is Bridging the Gap to Come in Unity. Your brother, Brother Morris Williams, will be looking for you on the next episode. Love you and shalom.
Shalom, Mishpachah. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Bridging the Gap to Common Unity. If you'd like more information, we have a few platforms that you can reach us on. We have our website, which is rebirthofanation.info. We have our email at hebrewnationbuilding@gmail.com. And we also have an Augusta Assembly as well as an Anderson Assembly. If you'd like more information, you can contact us at either one of these platforms and we'd be glad to assist you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.